have a couple of struggles in my own personal self, which has to do with my family and my business and everything else that's around me. I know I'm a good brother, a good partner, a good husband, a good father, I try to do the best that I can in myself and keeping everything and keeping myself happy.
Can't do it though, can you?
It's difficult.
Can't serve all of them and your own vibrational escrow at the same time.
But how do you obtain all your responsibilities of being a father, being a brother, being a husband, being a partner? How do you obtain all and have your own happiness?
By understanding this one thing first and foremost. If you're not selfish enough to tune yourself into the vibration of who you really are, you've got nothing to give them anyway. And if you let their needs supersede your alignment, then you just give a shadow of yourself to them, and they're never satisfied.
Understand it, respect it, I do. Again, but
give us an example of the dilemma, something concrete.
I have 4 children also. Life's, who's in college, who's working, who's just received communion. I got a Sweet 16 coming up. Go to work 6 days a week. I spend a lot of time at work. Come home, try to keep the house in some kind of order. Help my wife that she's busy with PTA, dance, this, that, the other thing. So how do you spread yourself thin enough to get everything done that you need to do?
Well, here's how you get ahead of all of this. And it takes a little selfish rebellion that does upset the apple cart temporarily. But what happens, and so we're going to tell you the end result first, and then we'll tell you how to go back and clean it up and get there. You've been hearing us talking about this non-physical part of you and the power of that, and as compared to the physical part of you. And we've been talking all day about reaching for the best thought you can find to bring yourself into alignment. And we'll talk specifically about some things in a minute here that show you how to close that gap. So what we want to say to you is that when you take the time to learn the processes to bring yourself into alignment, when you pre-pave, when you let it be an emotional game first, when you clean up the vibration energetically, when you do the vibrational work first, and then follow through with inspired action, much less action is required. It's a way of leveraging your time in a way that is difficult to describe. Let us just stick one more thing in. It's like you have to acknowledge when you look at billionaires or people who are running incredible corporations, you have to know that there are many more moving parts in their life than there are in your life. And there's no way that you can explain the monetary differences in what they're living or the manifestational result differences in what they're living by saying they're just putting in more time. They're not putting in more time. They're putting their time into vibrational alignment, which is yielding them results that don't require time.
So what do I need to do?
That was good, by the way.
It was good. But my question is, physically, what do I have to do to obtain that vibrational alignment?
What we want you to feel from this is that what's going on with you is that you're waking up and your life is dictating your responses. So you're having knee-jerk responses to life. In other words, this period of time calls this for me, this period of time calls this for me, and it will not be until you decide that during a period of time you are going to make your statements of what you want that things will begin to take form and shape for you. For example, if we were standing in your physical shoes and we came home from work and it's 1 o'clock in the morning and the house is quiet and we've put in a good day's work, we would get ourselves ready for bed and prepare ourselves in a way, we might even take a bath that is satisfying, and we would put ourselves in our bed and we would lie there and deliberately recount things of value that have taken place during that day. We would recall our children, each of them, to our mind, and we would feel appreciation for each of them softly and lightly. We wouldn't go into great detail about it. We would feel appreciation for wife and the details that she has been tending to. And then we would bask in the deliciousness of our bed as we begin to drift off to sleep. And then we would set forth the conscious thought that says, when I awaken in the morning, as soon as I open my eyes, I'm going to begin to look for things that I appreciate in my environment. And then off to sleep we would go. Now, the first or second or third day, it may not be the easiest thing for you to do. But by the time you've done that for 3 or 4 days, when you awaken in the morning, what you will begin to discover is you will be seeing, just from that one short exercise, you will begin to see your life, your detailed life, through the eyes of broader perspective. And when you allow yourself to see the details of your life through broader perspective, things begin to occur to you that were not occurring to you before. Your timing's better. The thoughts that come to you are better. The sequence of events that you line up are better. Instead of running around with a list or not keeping good track of your list, so much of the time you are sort of lost in the details because there's no real order to what's going on because your life is dictating it. But as you begin to take hold of your own alignment, what begins to happen is the source within you, who has an overview of you and your relationship with your children, of you and your relationship with your wife, of you and your relationship with your work, of you and your relationship with your money, of you and your relationship with your clients. Things just from that little exercise of basking before you go to sleep and basking as soon as you wake up will tune you into that broader perspective. You'll feel more vital. You'll feel more alive. You'll have more energy. You'll feel less overwhelmed. You'll feel more eager to do the things and less sort of put upon to do them. We know you have trained yourself to smile as you perform the duties of your life experience. You've been trained to joyfully do the service that is required. We know that you've been trained to do that, and we think it is a lovely thing. And we know that there are a lot of people in your life that are benefiting as a result of that decision that you've made. But it is our promise to you that when you take small steps to come into alignment with who you are, the order of your life will come into proportion. You will find yourself with time to do things that you had not had. The universe will orchestrate an opportunity for you to sit and bask with your wife. And you think you are nice to her all the time, and we do too, but you will be inspired to say things with such timing that they will be meaningful, because your inspiration to say them won't be there in a moment that she's out of sync. It'll be there in a moment that she's in sync. And when you say it, she will receive it and revel in it and benefit from it. Your rendezvous with your children will be more appropriate. You'll come together with them, and the timing of your interaction will be such that you will have meaningful experiences together. More money will begin to flow into your experience as a result of this little bit of time leverage that you're giving as you're coming into alignment. You got to remember that through every detail of life that you've been living, you've been doing something that you're not even knowing you're doing. You've been putting request after request after request after request into your vibrational escrow. And the universe, knowing who you are and loving you as you are, is lining up circumstances and events that you're not rendezvousing with. And the reason you're not rendezvousing with them is because you're not deliberately coming into alignment. You're letting life drag you around by the hair, you see. It does not take but a little bit of basking. When you've lived as much detail of life as you've lived, and you've put as much there, and it's calling you in the powerful way that it is, and the organization of things that law of attraction is causing a coming together with, a magnetic coming together with, when you begin to relax just a little bit, you allow yourself to touch up against this spinning vortex, and that's where the magic of your life begins to occur. And your children will be saying, hey, what's up with Dad? He just seems more in love with life. He seems more clear-minded. More things are happening. Your mate will find less reason to complain about things. And your vocabulary will change from one that is mostly talking about things of overwhelmment to one that is mostly talking about things of appreciation. We so want you to understand that we can feel how well your life is working. You have been managing your life in a remarkable way. And anyone who is looking at your life from the outside would say, this person has got it together. And we do not disagree with that at all. We're just saying that in the context of what you're asking for, as we look at your vibrational escrow, it's so much brighter and it feels so much better than the life that you have been letting yourself live. And when you chill just a little bit and argue just a little less for your limitations. Big shift in vibration and big shift in manifestation. When you have this mindset that says, when I get this thing I want done, then I'll be happy, you've got it all screwy in your mind, because it was never the getting of anything done that made you sign on for this leading edge time-space reality co-creative experience. You don't go on vacation. You don't plan your itinerary. Let's see. I'm at home and I'm going to go here, 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 13 cities, and then I'll come back home. You never say, oh, wait. Home's my final destination, and I am home. Why go? I might as well just check vacation off my list, because I seem to have accomplished it already. And we so want you to get the idea of this. There isn't anything that you want to get it done. The whole reason that it exists is because as you want it, it caused the larger part of you to vibrationally become it. The joy of life for those of us who are non-physical, and the joy of life for those of you who are physical, is the closing of the gap between the inception of the idea and the manifestation of the idea. That's where it all is. So many people think that the whole goal is to die in order to go to heaven. In other words, isn't that my objective? Shouldn't I come forth and do whatever it takes so that when I croak, I get... And we say, you didn't come forth in order to achieve perfection, because none of us will ever do that, because we are eternal. We can't get it done. There's no getting it done. If you are eternal, you are expanding. You just have to accept that concept, yes? We are eternal beings, always in the process of expanding. And when you accept your incompletion and you revel in the fun of asking and becoming and asking and becoming and asking and becoming and asking and becoming and asking and becoming, asking and becoming. And so someone says to you, oh, I know you had a goal set. Did you accomplish it? And you say, no. And they say, so you really want it, but it's not done. Why are you still happy? And you say, because the existence of this idea calls life through me all day, every day. Because this is a vacation that never ends. And I'm enjoying the journey. Now, we know you've heard those words. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the journey, enjoy the journey, enjoy the journey, enjoy the journey. You're so sick of enjoy the journey, enjoy the journey. We want you to know it's a never-ending journey. You might as well start enjoying it. And we think that it would be nice for you to let the poignancy of this life call forth from you your unique idea, and then recognize that it's an idea that you're not a match to, but that you could be. And then as you work to find familiarity within that idea, so that you close the gap on where you chronically vibrate and make yourself vibrate in the relief of coming into alignment with who you really are. Oh, it's so much more easy than you know. If you could see an aerial view of what's going on vibrationally that you have created for yourself, and if you could feel the dynamics of all the source energy attention to that, and if you could understand law of attraction's response to what's going on to your request for desire, you would never again doubt your worthiness, and you would never again deprive yourself of the well-being that is yours by beating the drum of some insignificant thing that is troubling you in your mediocre day-to-day physical life experience. You would not let those bothersome things deprive you of all that you've got set up over here. You'd live it, and you'd live it now. You would let petty differences fall by the wayside. You'd let things that bother you, that people have been saying about you or about anything, fall by the wayside. You would get so focused upon who you really are that you would become the being that you were born to be. You weren't born to be ornery. You were born to be joyful. You weren't born to be poor. You were born to be prosperous. You weren't born to be confused. You were born to have clarity and passion and enthusiasm for life, you see. Don't fritter that away with the petty details that are surrounding you. Let what is serve its purpose of reminding you who you are, and then turn your undivided attention to who you are. And when you do that, you know what will happen? When some ornery person, somebody who betrayed you, somebody who did something wrong, they lied to you, whatever, when somebody like that is in your life, and you launch this rockets of desire, maybe many of them. In fact, the people that bother you the most are the ones that have helped you to contribute most to your vibrational escrow. Do you know that? Those people that have given you the most grief have helped you the most. We're not kidding. When you care about the way you feel so that you turn your attention toward it and you find vibrational alignment with it, you know what happens? Everything that doesn't match who you now have trained yourself to vibrational be has to leave your experience. You don't have to divorce them. You don't have to fire them. You don't have to have them killed.